Okay, let's get started. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in Indonesia Pavilion. Today is the second day, and you're joining the Carbon Connection for Climate Action, seller meets buyer, strengthening collaboration towards a high integrity carbon governance. If yesterday we've presented to you one of Pertamina's renewable projects, and that's from the biogas power plant, today we have another one which considered as the most traded carbon units in Indonesia carbon exchange. So to have a better idea on that, please welcome from PT Pertamina, Ms. Gia Mokobombang.
Hello, hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all esteemed delegates. It's an honor for me to be standing here again for the second time for our second session of Seller Meets Buyer. So on behalf of Pertamina, I would like to say again that we are so grateful for this opportunity that we can share our commitment and once again reaffirm our readiness to support Indonesia's carbon market. So let me start by sharing to you about Pertamina's strategy. If we go to the next slide. Okay, so this is the strategy that comprises of two pillars that we call it dual growth strategy, where one pillar is focusing on the legacy business, where we are trying to maintain Indonesia's energy security, which is focusing a lot on the upstream and refinery as well as the retail business to the consumers. And another pillar is lower carbon business. This is where we're trying to also expand our portfolio, which included geothermal, biofuels, and this is also includes bioethanol, which is also the government is currently, trying to increasing its blending portion, and also CCS, CCUS, and obviously nature-based solution and carbon trading. And if we're going to the next slide, so through our subsidiary, Pertamina New Renewable Energy, currently, we are the first seller of carbon credits through IDX Carbon, which is the carbon market platform in Indonesia. And we were also the first carbon credit generators from renewable energy. So since 2023, we have sold a total of 864,000 tons of CO2 carbon credits. And this comes mainly from our geothermal power plant, which is located in Lahendong in North Sulawesi. So from 2023, we have verified and also issued all the carbon credits coming from the operations since 2016 to 2020. And currently, we also verified another operations since 2021 to 2022. So out of these 864,000 tons of CO2, we have a value of transaction for carbon credit of around 3 million US dollars. And on the next slide, if we're focusing more on this year, so with the support of the Ministry of Environment and also the IDX Carbon, we are producing more carbon credits in this year. So it's coming not only from our geothermal operations, but we're also expanding our portfolio to biogas power plant, which has been transactions yesterday with two of our buyers. And we also collaborate with Perhutani, a state-owned company who managing forestry resources in Indonesia, and we have 9 concessions in Kalimantan. But these projects will not coming out by this year, so it will comes out in the next 2 years. But it has a huge potential of 5 million tons of CO2 per year. So on the next slide, I would like to focus on the geothermal projects, which is, the 2 days main event for the seller meets buyer. So from this geothermal power plant, which is in Lahendong, we have 2.4 megawatts. And after the 2 volumes that we have sold in 2023 and 2024, today we also have verified another 465,000 tons of CO2. And it has through the verification and monitoring, reporting and verification from the Ministry of Environment through the National Registry System or SRM. So we have to assure you guys that the carbon credits from Pertamina, we have a high integrity, carbon credits, and we maintain the credibility and also transparency of our projects. So out of these 565,000 tons of CO2 from geothermal projects, I'm happy to announce to you that we have a committed buyer that we're going to have a signing ceremony today, which is coming from Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, Indonesia. Can I have a big round of applause? Yeah, so the next one, after we have one buyer today, we're also open for any buyer who's interested to buy the carbon credits. We're waiting for the issuance from the Ministry of Environment for this carbon credits coming from geothermal power plant. So with that, I would like to say that Pertamina, we are ready to be your partner in climate action, and we are also ready to be a partner in supporting Indonesia's carbon market. So let me close this presentation with a short video about Pertamina's carbon business overview. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and please enjoy.
Ayah, kata Bu Guru, bumi kita lagi demam. Katanya, karena terlalu banyak emisi gas rumah kaca ke udara. Kalau kita bisa menangkapnya, kita bisa sembuhkan bumi.
Kamu lagi apa, Nak?
Ayah, kita bisa bantu bumi kan?
Itu tugas orang besar, Nak. Kita cuma orang biasa. Nah ya?
Aku mau jadi orang yang bisa bantu bumi saat aku dewasa.
Pasti, Nak. Ayah yakin kamu pasti bisa.
Ayah, aku janji buat bantu bikin bumi jadi lebih baik.
Maaf ya, kamu kebangun gara-gara ayah.
Gak apa-apa, aku memang nunggu ayah pulang kok.
Oh iya, Naya. Ayah udah tahu cara kita bantu bumi.
Beneran ya?
Iya, bukan kita sendiri, tapi kita bisa jadi bagian besar dari itu.
Yeay!
Naya, jaga diri ya, Nak. Kalau lagi nggak sibuk, main-main ke rumah. Ayah selalu di sini.
Hai Ayah.
Ya. Ayah, aku janji buat bantu bikin bumi jadi lebih baik.
Ayah.
Naya?
Makasih ya, Ayah, udah selalu percaya sama aku.
Pasti, ayah selalu percaya sama kamu.
Harapan sederhana setiap keluarga adalah langit biru untuk anak-anak kita. Setiap pohon yang dijaga, setiap karbon yang dikurangi adalah napas kehidupan untuk masa depan. Melalui pemanfaatan energi biogas dan panas bumi, Pertamina NRE mengubah limbah menjadi listrik hijau, mengurangi emisi, memberi nilai ekonomi baru bagi petani dan masyarakat lokal. Kami berkomitmen menjaga energi panas bumi Indonesia terus menyala dan menjaga keseimbangan alam tanpa meninggalkan jejak karbon. Inilah komitmen kami untuk masa depan, langit yang lebih biru, udara yang lebih bersih, dan generasi yang terlindungi. Bersama masyarakat, bersama bumi, kita menanam harapan dan menjaganya tumbuh.
Yeah, please give a big round of applause for PT Pertamina. I guess they're ready to be part of the global solution, enhancing energy resilience while accelerating the transition into sustainable green economy. And that's reflected on the next agenda, and that's the signing ceremony. I would call upon all the parties, please be ready. Director of Transformation and Business Sustainability, Bapak Agung Wicaksono. And from the buyer side, he is the head of Treasury and Marketing PT Bank SMBC Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation Indonesia, Bapak Dadang Suryana, who's going to join online. When you're ready, Pak, you may go ahead with the signing the document. Okay, so Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation or PT Bank SMBC Indonesia Tbk agreed to procure verified and high quality carbon credit units from one-off project of PNRE. It is Lahendong Unit 5 and Unit 6 Geothermal Energy with total amount around 16,596 ton CO2 equivalent. Okay. Stay put, Pak. We're going to capture the moment. Okay, thank you very much. It's all done. So this power plant, you may return to your seat, Pak. Thank you. So this power plant is operated with total capacity of 2 multiply 20 megawatt and delivers over 315,000 megawatt hours of renewable electricity to the Sulawesi Utara Gorontalo grid. So from this geothermal project, PNRE is showing a solid track record in the Indonesian carbon market. It has successfully transacted around 864,000 ton carbon dioxide equivalent between 2023-2024. And building on this success, PNRE is preparing the next issuance of carbon credit from Lahendong Unit 5 and 6 geothermal project with total volume of around 465,000 ton carbon dioxide equivalent and is designed for any buyers committed to delivered measurable contributions toward NZE 2060. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the signing ceremony. Pertamina and Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, congratulations once again for both parties. Moving on to the next one. We all know Indonesia carbon market is now playing a new field in realizing its climate action strategy. So we are going to gain a good perspective on the potential, the implementation, as well as the best practices around carbon trading economy, both in Indonesia as well as globally. With that, please join me in welcoming Professor Bambang Brojonegoro.
Very good morning, everybody. Selamat pagi. It's glad to be here in the Indonesia Pavilion. And today we are going to discuss or basically trying to promote the carbon market mechanism in Indonesia. Of course, I would like to take the analogy of the emergence of the stock market in Indonesia, I think in 1970s. Before 1970s, Indonesia didn't have so-called a stock market. But then there is a need from the corporate, from the private sector to get extra financing, to get more investment, to expand their company. So at the end, the government decided to set up the Indonesian Stock Exchange. And when you already involved in the stock exchange business, you know very well there is very strict regulation, and you have to basically, from the company side, you have to be transparent, but also you need to give kind of accurate information, accurate financial report in order to attract the appetite of investors to your company. So it means having the stock exchange at that time really giving kind of education to all the Indonesian corporate sectors how to conduct the business properly. And why I took this analogy of the stock exchange, because now we are talking about carbon exchange. And Indonesia, government of Indonesia already decided that Indonesia Stock Exchange, IDX, will be the organization, will be the agency to conduct this carbon exchange activity. And of course, when you are already in the environment of carbon exchange mechanism, then you know. For example, we just witnessed how the SMBC Bank Indonesia buying so-called the carbon credit from Pertamina Geothermal Energy in Lahendong, North Sulawesi. Of course, it's not just simply because Pertamina has Lahendong as a geothermal, which is renewable energy, and we know that Indonesia is one of the, has the biggest potential of geothermal in the world. It's not just like that. I think first, from Pertamina side, they have to prove that the operation of Lahendong itself fulfill all the environmental standard. And certainly when it comes to the calculation of, let's say, the CO2 reduction, absorption, and also greenhouse gas emission reduction, then you have to come up with a very accurate report that verified and standardized by international agency. So it means, although this is like, a simple transaction, but behind that, there are a lot of requirements. And I think those requirements will really tell us that Indonesia is basically in the process to be one of the major supplier of carbon credit in the world. Of course, we always tell everybody, look, Indonesia has one of the biggest tropical forests, rainforests in the world. That itself already kind of asset. But remember, asset is an asset, but when you are doing the transaction, the asset class, the type of asset class will be very important. You might have asset, but maybe the value will be very low, and it won't be profitable, let's say, for the companies. So it means you have to work very hard, not only from the reporting side, measuring the data, but more importantly, you have to really take into account the type of asset that you manage. So even though, for example, your asset is like, a tropical forest and certain area, certain location, let's say in Indonesia, it doesn't mean that you can just, show to everybody, look, I have these several hectares of rainforest that we have managed, we have trying to conserve, but at the end, they like to see what you have done to that kind of the location of the forest area. So it means you have to work very seriously to maintain the quality of the asset. So again, the quality of asset will be the game changer in this carbon trading mechanism. If you really serious in this business, then you will get a lot of benefit, because once you maintain your asset very nicely, then you will get bigger potential of transaction, and you got like a lot of potential buyers. Remember, in our Indonesia Stock Exchange, the definition of blue chip. Some of the stock market considered a blue chip, not just because they are big, but they are big company, but at the same time managed very prudently. They fulfill all the good governance, they follow all the regulation, but at the same time, they are doing the business professionally. They got high profit and high return for their investor. So at the end, they're becoming the blue chip. So I expect that more and more Indonesian companies, including state-owned enterprise like Pertamina, PLN, and others, and of course, the big private sector, and also I like to urge also the small and medium enterprise trying to be involved in this carbon trading mechanism. Again, you have to treat this carbon trade activities as an asset. You have to really upgrade your asset class when you are trying to get the benefit from the stock market, from the carbon market in Indonesia. And don't forget, our potential in Indonesia is not just limited for Indonesia stock market, but also for other countries. I remember one of our neighbors in ASEAN really eager to be involved in Indonesia's Indonesia's carbon trading mechanism. But because maybe of some regulation, they haven't been able to do that. But it means the potential is there. not only the potential transaction, but I think the lucrative investment is there, then it's up to us as Indonesian really to provide the carbon trading mechanism at the best way we can do. So I believe Indonesia offer a lot, not only renewable energy, but again, the natural forest, and don't forget from our blue economy, mangrove and others. So there are a lot of things. But again, you cannot just leave the asset like that. You really need to manage the asset. You really to manage how to make the value of the asset much bigger than what we have now. I think that would be my kind of remark for this event. And again, I would like to congratulate anybody who has done successfully during this COP30 to do the carbon trading with potential buyers anywhere from the world. Thank you very much.
Assets is going only to be an asset if we don't manage the quality of the asset. So it has to be precise in terms of number and also transparent. Thank you, Prof. Bambang. Please stay healthy. Okay, next we want to introduce to you a potential project located in Sumba, Indonesia, which currently designed and developed by Reforest Action. And with 15 years of experience, over 1,000 projects, there are an array of expertise to offer. And I guess they will be a great partner to work with. Let's take a look at the next video. Actually, she's joining us online. Hilua Shora, can you hear me well? Okay, here we are. She's joining us online all the way from France. Please. We can see it. Please go ahead. We can see the screen very well. You can go ahead.
So it's really our specialty, working with project implementers everywhere in the world. Our expertise in the field of as well as due diligence and for the moment, is looking now for investors to go to the next stage. So the next slide, please. Yeah, digital. Going to be up to 20,000 hectares. project will take place having a little potential role in the island. I'm going to explain why in order to design this project with our three local partners and how a community-based agriculture project was saying that we have a high potential for because a large part of the island is now quite degraded with low carbon stocks due to older deforestation like it has in the previous centuries. The island is facing erosion, degraded soils, water scarcity, maybe a bit more than the other islands in Indonesia. Sumba is one of the only islands that is not volcanic and makes its soil quality and water availability. The island, this is the first challenge spanning planet and nature. From the more the point of view of livelihoods, this island is quite remote to the south of Indonesia, facing sometimes economic hardship in the smallholder agriculture that has sometimes a lower level of entrance, and there is, for the smallholders at least, sometimes linked to economic difficulty. You may know the beautiful ikat, the woven fabric that are produced there. It is still difficult for many families to make good living out of it. The value chains, there is also a lot of room for improvements because the market, the products have a low value at farm gates. Although when they are exported to Bali or Jakarta or overseas, the price is much higher than for the same product. There are many intermediaries that are capturing the value, and the farmers, when they're isolated, have a low bargaining power. And finally, with this project, we want to act on gender equity. Even though women have enough standing in agriculture and entrepreneurs, sometimes their role is not recognized widely in the community, and their voices sometimes are not very well represented, especially in decision making. So through this project, we want to address not only carbon sequestration, but this whole core challenges and working next slide, working on the just to define first of all, of course, there is the technical plantation project models and 3 agroforestry plantation models, each one designed for a specific context and farmer need. But it's not only about planting trees, it's also about bringing back the good conditions for the trees to grow and to stay in the long term, working on sustainable soil management practices, building water infrastructure where it's required, where the young trees need irrigation, and also including terracing, fencing, fire control where it's needed. We also want to empower the communities that will take part in this project so that they do not only plant fields, but also can take the most out of those fields. The project will roll out a 360 degrees training program in 100 villages with 15,000 households trained not only on sustainable land management, but also on business development. We want to create a dedicated governance with the 600 farmer groups that will take part in the project. this idea of working together and collectively on each other's field and helping each other is something really strong in Sumba and that we find fascinating. And this is something we want to build on and reinforce through the project. On the value chain side, we have identified together with our local partners 5 key commodities that will be planted and produced thanks to the project: sandalwood, candlenut, cashew, coffee, and timber. We want to create sustainable value chains for those 5 commodities, creating sustainable market links, finding buyers that will offer fair prices, and also helping the communities to work on post-harvest processing. For example, through village-owned businesses, the BOOMDES, or other initiatives. And finally, to work with women, we want the project to be inclusive at all stages, in consultation, in strategy, in recruitment, and ultimately in implementation. We'll offer targeted training in areas where women sometimes are not as proficient as men due to social gendered roles, for example, in financial or business or public outreach. And something that our local partners have highlighted, and we have highlighted when working together, is that this can only happen by building on the existing traditional roles. So we'll also take advantage of male leaders to advocate female voices in the communities. Next slide, please. Thanks to those 4 pillars, we'll be able to develop a high integrity, high impact project with co-benefits, not only carbon sequestration, although we're really proud of being able to offer 6.3 million tons CO2 equivalent after 40 years, but also on the other topics, on biodiversity with 20 native species planted, 200 hectares of native forest restoration, on livelihoods and value chains with 4 productive models with 2,000 hectares of timber forest, 16,000 hectares of agroforestry with sandalwood, with fruit trees, water access projects, farmer groups strengthened, and 7,500 women involved and trained and supported through the projects. Last but not least, we have defined a benefit sharing mechanism. Those activities that were listed in the previous slide are already included in the project design because without them, the project could not have long-lasting impacts. But we also want a share of carbon credit sales revenues to flow back to the project communities because we want to keep them motivated and they will be able then to decide how this money will be invested in community projects. So this mechanism will be defined more during local stakeholder consultations. We want it to be transparent and fair.
Thank you, Hiloas. Thank you.
Is it? Am I over already?
Oh, you have a few minutes if you want to have a few statements that's important for you to say.
Okay. I have only 2 slides left, so maybe the next one, very quick. This project is about planting sandalwood. Sandalwood is a really emblematic species of Sumba Island. Sumba was once called Pulau Cendana, the sandalwood island. So it's a vulnerable species by the IUCN. It doesn't regenerate very well in the wild, and this project is going to plant many sandalwood trees to restore the sandalwood ecosystems. It also brings huge economic values for the farmers because it produced the hardwood of the sandalwood produced this precious oil that is used in perfumery, for example, or for worship. And this oil can only be produced after 15, 20 years. So it's really something that a short-term project couldn't do. This is why we need a long-term project, a carbon project, to be able to work on sandalwood. And I will finish on the last slide. I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this presentation. We welcome the recent updates of the Indonesian carbon framework that are bringing much more clarity to investors, but also to projects, foreign project developers like us. We hope it will really give a strong signal for investors to start investing in projects in Indonesia. We are also really proud of this project in our team. It's very beautiful, it's high impact. It's only now at the pre-investment stage, so about to be registered on the SRN platform, and also we're looking for funds for pilots and for potential offtakes agreements. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hiloas. What a great project, because it takes a few points in SDG. So if anyone have an interest in that project, I will let you know how to approach them at the end of the program, okay? All right, next, to have access to high integrity, high quality carbon units, of course, we need an external body to validate, to verify the projects. So next speaker, he's from PT Anindya Wiraputra Consult. Please welcome Ramazan Vino.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Bom dia. Let me first introduce my name. My name is Ramazan Beram Sofiano, and I'm representing PT Anindya Wiraputra Consult, your green business partner. Next slide, please. So as we all know, that climate change is a huge issue that we are facing right now, right? So yesterday, the theme for this year's COP has always been the COP of truth. But we believe that truth does not always means regarding on how government gave their NDC report, but truth is also very important in the carbon ecosystem, because we see that there has been a lot of issues concerning the climate change that we are experiencing right now, not only as corporation, but we as people. We see that rising global temperature, extreme weather events that exist in our world. That is the reason why, if you see the news last night there was a massive protest here, because we believe that the people deserve to get to know whether the truth, whether or not the carbon credit do give impact towards the society. But our company, our validation and verification body, does not always talk about the carbon market or carbon trading. But this is also regarding the emission report, whether or not the emission report in the sustainability report that exists within which a lot of company actually accurate. Next slide, please. This is why the carbon ecosystem became a very important case as we are going into the next COP or the next NDC reporting. We believe that there has to be a paradigm shift between climate crisis to climate opportunity. But let me first dissect who are all the important actors in this particular ecosystem, and how do we position ourselves as validation and verification body that exists in Indonesia, especially in the era of internationalization and multilateral environmental agreements such as UNFCCC, the Kyoto Protocol, and the Paris Agreement that has given the compulsion towards country to give their NDC reporting. We believe that government act as a regulator in this carbon ecosystem, which means that the government, especially after the issuance of the presidential regulation number 110 year 2025, which means that there has been two kind of mechanism that exist in our country, which is one is the cap and trade system, what we call as PTBAEPU, and also there has been obviously the certification of carbon reduction, which became the carbon certificate that later be issued by the Indonesian government, or SPAE. But most importantly as well is this entities or the corporation that we already seen that sells the carbon credits and tell the world of the sustainability report. But then there comes the people or as beneficiaries. Obviously the people want to know whether or not any climate-based solution or climate reduction that exists by the entities is actually being validated. Is it actually being verified? Is it actually impactful to them? Is the process in accordance to the international standards? This is why our role becomes very important. We believe that because of the international standards that mandate all the project that exists to be validated by an independent validation and verification body. We believe that any validation and verification body becomes one of the key points in the carbon ecosystem that oftentimes being overlooked, right? This is why we came into this particular convention to tell you that we are also an important game changer in this particular market. Next slide. So basically, who are we? We are PT Anindya Wiraputra Consult. We were founded in 1982, so we have done a lot of inspection and a lot of verification for other sectors as well that I'm going to give to you maybe after the session. But also in basically our FIFIB was founded in 2023 when we have become one of the most growing FIFIB in the country. We have more than 17 projects across Indonesia, and we have helped a lot of corporations, right? But why 2023? Because it is after the issuance of the presidential regulation number 98 year 2021, when there has been a formalization of the carbon ecosystem and carbon pricing in Indonesia. But secondly, we come to the era of COP of truth or high integrity carbon unit. But not only the integrity carbon unit, but the integrity of sustainability report or carbon emission reporting, which becomes also very important because a lot of companies are seeking green financing, for example, which carbon emission report become the prerequisite for that. We believe that although we are based in Indonesia, we are already comply with the International Organization for Standardization. We are operating in accordance with ISO 17029, ISO 14065, and ISO 14063. But most importantly, this is not about only our services, but it's also, we're talking about our team that also consists of experts that already been certified under ISO 14066 with extensive experience in conducting validation and verification. But secondly, that is also very much important. We are one of the only FIFIBs that is already been accredited by two major entities. One is the National Accreditation Committee or CAN, but secondly also by the Indonesian government via the Ministry of Environment or the Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup. Therefore, we are already been registered under our registry, which is the System Registry Nasional that exists within the Ministry of Environment. So therefore, our scope of work, which became very unique and very big, not only that we do project validation, which is the PDD or the verification, which later can be issued for the carbon credit. But not only that, we are also do organizational verification for the non-carbon pricing scheme. Because usually right now, under the, even a lot of corporations who might not want to join in the carbon pricing, but oftentimes they want to have a sustainability report. Of course, they need to do a certain types of reporting in their scope 1 emission or scope 2 emission and scope 3 emission. This is where our qualities come because our companies is already been accredited nationally, and even right now, especially with the increase of the MRA between Indonesia and other entities such as FERA and Gold Standard and also Japan, we believe that we also been recognized in that, we have to be recognized in that particular MRA so that every carbon credit that being verified by us can be sold abroad. Therefore, this is also a unique opportunity for a lot of corporation. But thirdly, also in terms of the carbon the carbon cap and trade system, which is the PT BIPU, we are also been recognized by the Ministry of Minerals in terms of the verification of their emission reports. Therefore, we already have a huge scope of work which become our, therefore we say ourselves we are your green business solution. We might not sell any carbon credit here, but we sell the prerequisite so that your carbon credit can be sold nationally and internationally. Therefore, we are very proud to be here. Next slide, please. Therefore, this is like our activities. We have conducted a lot of organizational verification. One of them is in the PT Tata Metal, which is located near the Jakarta area. We've verified their organization and their scope 1 and scope 2 emission. Next slide. So for more information, you can contact us. So we have our link towards to our company profile in terms of our LVV or VVB, but we also have our website because our services does not only stop as on the greenhouse gas emission reporting, but it's also other things such as export and import, but we are also done such as the VPTI or TKDN quantification. So thank you so much, everyone. I will be here from until tomorrow, and we can meet and also discuss our future projects. But before I finish the speech, there will be a video that will be shown about our company. So thank you so much, everyone. Terima kasih, and can't wait to be your green business partner solution. Thank you so much, everyone.
quality and trust are never built overnight. They are earned through integrity, precision, and time. Sustaining them for over 4 decades is no easy feat. Unless you are driven by the right people. India consistently provides end-to-end solutions for verification and validation across every sector of Indonesia's industry. Our VPTI inspectors guard the eligibility of every item imported into Indonesia while minimizing potential losses. Trusted to conduct domestic component-level verification to support and protect the local industry. We act as a reliable partner, ensuring every process runs transparently and efficiently for all industrial players. Assisting industries in obtaining greenhouse gas validation and verification in accordance with standards. Our LVV verifiers and validators ensure that every operation achieves target net zero emissions. From rugged fieldwork to precise laboratory analysis to maintain the quality of every commodity. Our coal division is ready to venture anywhere, conducting laboratory analysis with international grade precision to deliver the most accurate survey reports. Supported by seasoned professionals, our mineral division works with the same international standards, equipped with advanced technology to ensure our reports accurately reflect the quality of minerals, from site exploration, sampling, to processing and refining facilities. To guarantee safety and quality, our marine surveyors meticulously examine every inch of a vessel, starting from the exterior to the lower decks and bridge. Our greatest strength lies in our people, analysts, chemists, surveyors, and inspectors. They are the people who strive for integrity and accuracy to propel us ever forward. And enhanced with a strong international network, no location is beyond our reach. With a team ready to serve anywhere and anytime, for every surveying, verification, and validation needs. We don't just verify. We ensure confidence in every trade, every shipment, and every step forward. India, your trusted partner in quality and compliance.
What a great service by PT India, providing a full service, all-rounded service in generating high-quality carbon units. Thank you very much for the presentation, Vino. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have 4 sustainable forest product projects in Indonesia, and I will introduce them one by one. Being the first one, she's from PT Nusantara Raya Solusi NRS. Please welcome Ibu Mayang Pratiwi.
Selamat siang, bon tarde, and good afternoon from Indonesia to Brazil and from all over the world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud here today to introduce our project as a CEO and project lead manager of SBK, South Barito Kapuas project. In this very esteemed season, the seller meet buyer in COP30 COP30 in Belém, Brazil. Next slide, please. SBK is a project, forest conservation project by Neoterra, spanning dryland and peatland across 40,000 hectares in central Kalimantan, Indonesia. The concession sits among 10 villages with roughly about 15,000 people around the area. So community alignment is not a side program. It is the core of permanence. And under FERA VCS standard, the project aiming to generate about 1 million credit annually. Next, please. What buyers actually get if they buy our carbon credit? From environmental value, avoided emission and removals across peat and mineral soils, biodiversity, and fire risk mitigation are embedded in our operation. Next, on the biodiversity, next slide. In the biodiversity, as we all know that Indonesia is a beating heart of global biodiversity, with more unique species of plants, animals, birds, fishes, and any other country. And these are our key species in SBK project. Next, in terms of community, we believe that conservation must bring shared prosperity. Economic incentive from the project will generate revenue, and they are reinvested into community development program. The SBK project not only address climate change, but also contribute and driving to the 17 SDGs goals. And then the next slide, in terms of activities, the South Barito Kapuas project has already implemented a range of activities to ensure effective forest restoration and protection. And together, this measure will strengthen the ecosystem resilience, reduce fire risk, and restore biodiversity across the concession. And lastly, about the collaboration for impact, we have this landmark initiative in our project. So we will have the Fire Watch Tower and the Welcome Center. It is designed by a renowned Japanese architect, Mr. Kengo Kuma-san. It will reflect a future where people and nature actually walk side by side and allowing both to flourish without taking from one another. Next, this is the certification timeline. So this project has been validated by the VVB, which is RINA Services, earlier this year. And we are expecting our first carbon credit to be issued hopefully by March next year. And as we speak, the VVB is actually on site doing the site verification. And on top of that, we are also undergoing a B0 rating, which result targeted by mid-December this year. And we are expecting to have AA rating outcome. And then the next CCB first validation and verification, we'll aim to have it by 2027, and the following joint second verification with the issuance targets in 2028. And hopefully this gives you perspective and idea about the important milestone of SBK's project. If time allows, I would like to invite you to watch our video. But before that, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a great honor to address such a respectable audience. And if anyone wants to buy our credit, please talk to me afterward. Obrigado, and God bless.
Okay, let's play the video. Okay. Due to time limit, I guess I have to finish off with all the speakers first. So I'll invite the next speaker. Actually, he's joining us online already, Mr. Bush Pangestu from PT Global Alam Lestari. I think it's a very late evening in Indonesia. Okay, you may proceed, please. Thank you.
Peatland project, or SMPP. Yeah, our flagship nature-based solutions project in South Sumatra, Indonesia. Next slide, please. Okay, so the SMPP is a collaboration between PT GAL, Global Almastari, and Forest Carbon, restoring over 22,000 hectares of degraded peatland rainforest. We are registered under the FAIR VCS number 1899, and then we obtained CCB Gold rating. Under the BM7 methodology, we generate around 1.2 million PCUs per year. Next slide, please. So the journey started in 2013 when PT GAL obtained a concession license from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. By 2016, the project officially launched and secured a $6 million investment from Altelia Climate Fund to develop SMPP. In 2019, we achieved our first carbon issuance, and by 2021, we fully repaid our investors. To date, project has issued 2.6 million credits with another 3.4 million ready for issuance. Next slide, please. This is our credibility. It's independently verified from the science, is peer reviewed. We are recognized by the World Economic Forum as an ANSES Lighthouse Projects, one of the out of 6, and we are rated A by B0. So next slide, please. So this is like beyond the numbers. Yeah, what really matters is the transformation on the ground. You can see here, it shows here a clear difference between 2016 and 2014. In 2016, there was a degraded, drain, and fire-prone peatland. And now in 2024, it's now become a vibrant green landscape, yeah, with restored vegetation and stable water levels. So it's a visual proof of nature's recovery, and it teaches us how consistent restoration can reverse decades of damage. Next slide, please. So since 2016, we have over 4.3 million tons equivalent of emissions that have been reduced and verified. We have employed 70% of local staff from the communities. We have improved over 8,000 improved the lives of 8,000 community members with sanitation and access to healthcare, and most importantly, we have protected more than 40 rare and threatened species, including, and the next slide, please. Okay, including the Sumatran tiger, the silvery lotong, the agile gibbon, and the rhinoceros hornbill. Yeah, I mean, to close with, I think we shows, the SMPP shows how high integrity carbon projects can restore ecosystems, empower communities, and deliver measurable climate actions. We're looking forward to your collaboration, and we thank you for your time in the COP30 Belém. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bush, for staying up awake at this hour. Thank you. We'll talk to you again later. Okay, the next one we have PT Rimba Makmur Utama, RMU, which will be presented by Bapak Darsono Hartono through the video.
Hello from Jakarta. My name is Darsono Hartono. I'm the CEO of PT Rimba Makmur Utama, or RMU. It's an honor to join you at the Indonesian Pavilion COP30 Brazil. At the Sellers Meet Buyers session, New Era of the Carbon Project in Indonesia. RMU managed Katingan Mentaya project, the world's largest nature-based solution registered by Vera, covering more than 150,000 hectares of peatland forest in central Kalimantan. These forests store massive carbon stock, preventing millions of tons of emission every year, and providing habitat for endangered species like orangutan, proboscis monkeys, clouded leopard, and Sunda pangolin. But more than that, the Katingan Mentaya project is a living example of how climate action, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable livelihood can work hand in hand. The project was built on a simple but powerful idea that protecting forests can create both climate benefit and community prosperity. Since inception, it has avoided around 60 million tons of CO2 emission, showing how high integrity carbon market can support Indonesia follow Net Sink 2030 and net zero targets, while also improving local livelihood. Communities, once dependent on logging, now protect forests and run sustainable enterprises, from organic farming and aquaculture to women-led micro-businesses such as virgin coconut oil and fish processing. We now work with 41 villages around the project area, improving well-being through health, education, wash, and livelihood program. Our floating posyandu, or a boat-based mobile clinic, deliver maternal and childcare to remote peatland villages. One of the strongest pillars of KMP is credibility. We're registered under Vera, certified triple gold CCB, rated AA by Silvera and B0. Proof that integrity, transparency, and impact drive everything we do. The Mentaya project remains fully active and currently in the process of verifying up to 18.5 million tons of emission reduction in its latest monitoring report, ready for transaction. I'm looking forward to any potential collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, that's the third one. We have the last one, and I think he's going to join us online. He's from Riau Andalan Pulp and Paper, or April. Bapak Nyoman Iswara Yoga. Pak Nyoman, can you hear me well? Okay, he will present the presentation through the video.
Hello, good morning to you all in Pavilion Indonesia at COP30 Belem. My apology for not being able to join you in person this morning. I would like to thank the Ministry of Forestry and Ministry of Environment who initiated and facilitated this meeting for projects like us to introduce and showcase progress on carbon project in Indonesia. Let me introduce myself. I am Nyoman Iswara Yoga, representing Restorasi Ecosystem Riau, commonly known as RER, an initiative under April Group. RER is a restoration initiative for protecting, conserving, and restoring peat ecosystem in the province of Riau at the heart of Sumatra Island. RER is operated by 4 different project proponents based on the ecosystem restoration licenses or concessions for 60 years granted by the Indonesia Ministry of Forestry. The project is covering more than 130,000 hectares of important peatland landscape on the island. Aligning with the climate, community, biodiversity approach through 4 pillars of protect, assess, restore, and manage, RER project is delivering a nature-based solutions greenhouse gases emission reduction that maintain and enhance the ecological value for the landscape to the impact of climate change. RER project is a habitat of more than 900 species, which over 80 of them are listed on the IUCN Red List, including 14 critically endangered species. On the ground, we are hand in hand with the local communities in preserving their traditional fisheries practice to manage natural resources sustainably and support their welfare through empowerment and livelihood development. The RER Carbon Project starts in 2016 through its first canal blocking activity, which continuously progress to contribute to the emission reductions from the wetting of peatland and majorly to the avoidance of fire risks in the landscape. RER Carbon Project is validated under FERA VCS, applying VM 0007 REDD Plus methodology framework with activities for emission reduction through avoided plant deforestation, restoring wetland ecosystems, and conservation of intact wetlands through avoiding plant wetland degradation. The project is validated and completed its first MRV cycle for vintage between year 2016 and 2020, which we have credits ready for issuance to the amount of more than 13 million tons of CO2. Mindful of time this morning, I invite you to learn more on the project through the project page in FERA, VCS Project ID 2403, Project ID 2403, or visiting RER website www.recoforest.org, www.recoforest.org. Please be in touch. I will be very happy to provide you with more details information on our progress and have further talk on your interests to work together to support Indonesia emission reduction and contribution to the global climate goal. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you to all speakers for presenting in Carbon Connection for Climate Action. It is a brilliant program where innovative sellers and forward-thinking buyers all shared the same goal, and that's to build a robust and globally connected carbon market. Okay, so I think that's the end of it. But before you leave, I will have to show you a few things on the screen. The first one is the QR code for coaching clinic. So if you want to find out more about carbon market or carbon trading mechanism in Indonesia Carbon Exchange, and to access a high quality carbon units with the best security and convenient transaction, you can scan the code. And if you do the registration today, you will get the appointment the next day, which is tomorrow between 1 to 3 Brazil time. So for the audience joining online, you probably can adjust it according to your time zone. Okay, and that's one. The second one, should you have any interest, any queries, any questions regarding the proposed projects that's been presented earlier, you can scan the QR code. I think it's the next one, not this one. So there will be a list of projects that's going to be present and was presented before. You can select it and just follow the prompt. And we will get back to you and we'll talk about that later on. Okay? The third one, okay, I think let's conclude and let's call it a day. We will have another forum, a similar one tomorrow. So please make sure you don't miss out. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.